delay in going to the, delay in identifying that there's a problem during the childbirth, then delay in getting to the health facility, and then delay in getting the appropriate care inside the health facility.
Okay, well, let's go through those. Thank you. Through with a case study to sort of highlight what these issues are.
She announces it after she has a sandwich on the plate.
Feel free to come over and get it.
Yeah. It's called Blazers. She's not the best for a reason. Yeah, smart. That's probably I don't know, man. I'm willing to give credit for the guy.
Okay. The first delay has to do with the decision to seek care. So let's start by reading the first part of this case study. It highlights a bit about each of the delays and how this actually plays out in developing countries. Go ahead.
Today, Mary, the lady who helps in the house, came late to work. I asked why she was late. She said that one of her townswomen had died in the hospital while giving birth to a baby. This was her 5th delivery. She was not from a far-off village, but from Sokoto City itself. She had not gone too late to the hospital, but rather had gone on time.
Okay. Any comments on that one? Here to summarize that, what happened to this lady?
She died?
This is the first part of the story.
Getting to the point.
That's after the third part, Krishna. You're jumping.
Sorry, I was thinking what's on this one. Well, she got to a facility on time, it sounds like, but perhaps whatever was wrong with her was not identified, or the treatment for what was going on was not available at the time. But
Okay. So let's go on to part 2. Who is part 2?
So by the time they found a vehicle to go to the hospital, by the time they struggled to get her to an admission ward, by the time she was admitted, by the time her file was made up, by the time the midwife was called, by the time the midwife had finished eating, by the time the midwife came, by the time the midwife examined the woman, by the time the bleeding started, by the time the doctor was called, by the time they could find the doctor, by the time the ambulance went to find the doctor, by the time the doctor actually came, by the time the husband went out to buy the drugs, IV set, drip, and bottle of ether, by the time the husband went round to look for blood bags all over the town, by the time the husband found one, by the time the husband begged the pharmacist to reduce the prices since he'd already spent all the money on swabs, dressing, fluid, drugs, etc.
So if we relate that scenario to the things coming up in any of these, which are the delays and barriers out of the ones up here that you've heard of this story?
Delays in reaching care.
Delay in reaching care, she had a transport problem to get to the facility. What else?
Delay in receiving care.
And then she got there and it still didn't help.
When she got there, they didn't have the correct testing, it sounded like. They didn't have the right materials. There was a cost issue. The husband had to actually go out and buy the IVs. They didn't have medical equipment and supplies there. So there was an income, a poverty barrier there. What else?
The motivation of the personnel.
Right, what was the midwife doing?
Eat her.
Just hang on a minute, don't die until I finish eating my lunch. Lack of finances was there. Anything else? Supplies. There wasn't the medical supplies. They had to run all over town looking for the blood bank to get blood and the IV. Okay. Let's go on to part 3. Please have part 3.
Okay, I have it. By the time the hematologist was called, by the time the hematologist took blood from the poor tired husband, by the time that the day and night nurses changed duty, by the time that the midwife came again, by the time the doctor was called, by the time the doctor could be found, by the time the doctor came, by the time the T's had been properly crossed and all the I's dotted and the husband signed the confirmation form, the woman died. Today, the husband wanted to sell the drugs and other things they never used to be able to carry the body of his wife back to the village, but he could never trace the body again in the hospital.
So this was a true story that was narrated in a maternal health journal that's put out, and just, I think, illustrates what the challenges women face in rural developing countries, all the things that we sort of take for granted in the West, being able to run to the hospital, and ambulances and doctors available and medical equipment available simply don't exist in, I think, at least most of the countries where we are working. So let's go on to what interventions there are and how can we make a difference. There are some proven ones and newer technologies that are brought into that. So let me just go through. There's sort of a mix mash here of things that are proven and the newer technologies. Of course, the first one, in terms of having an impact to reduce maternal mortality, is increasing access to family planning, because when you reduce unwanted pregnancies, well, then you have fewer pregnancies and less risk of women dying from childbirth. So that's an obvious one. There are estimates, I think there was a series in the Lancet last year where some modeling had been done that showed that maternal mortality could be reduced by as much as 25% globally if we could meet all the unmet need for contraception that was existing in developing countries. So in order to, and I've just, this is not a comprehensive list. I focused here on some of the areas where PSI is making a contribution or could be making a contribution. For addressing postpartum hemorrhage, the gold standard according to WHO is oxytocin, but misoprostol is increasingly getting used, and I'll talk a little bit